So lately, I've been getting into the whole world of cryptocurrency mining, looking into Bitcoin miners, Ethereum miners, Litecoin miners, even a Doge miner. And I recently actually got into a project called Helium and Helium mining. And personally, out of all the different cryptocurrency miners, I think that this is one of the most profitable crypto miners as of right now. And I also want to show you guys how I was able to actually make $2,000 in passive income in the past 30 days just mining Helium. So if that excites you, if you want to learn more, if you want to make some passive income, make sure to drop a like on this video. Do not forget to subscribe. Without the way, let's just jump right into it. So what exactly is Helium? So Helium is basically trying to build out a decentralized wireless infrastructure for IoT devices. And they have a really unique approach about this, being decentralized. Instead of them actually going out there and setting up all these radio towers all around the world themselves, they actually had an idea of actually having the people set up these hotspots, these radio towers, and basically provide coverage for their Helium network. So what exactly do I mean by that? So if we actually go into the Helium website and we scroll down into the mining section, by deploying a simple device in your home or office, you can provide your city with miles of low power network coverage for billions of devices and earn a new cryptocurrency, HNT. By setting up a Helium hotspot, we are providing coverage, and in doing so, we are rewarded with HNT. That's a really good incentive to get a lot of people to set up these hotspots, seeing as these hotspots, they're like the size of a router, they're tiny, and they barely consume any electricity at all. And not to mention, they're dead silent. They don't make any sound at all. Compare that to like a Bitcoin or Ethereum miners. Those things suck out so much energy and they're extremely loud. And if you actually go to explorer.helium.com, this is basically like a public website that Helium set up to kind of show you all the information about the hotspots all around the world. You can basically see how many are set up, where they're set up, how much they're making. Very valuable information into this. Definitely look into this website. So here you can actually see that there are 387,000 hotspots currently active as of right now. When I got into Helium mining about 2 to 3 months ago, this number was around 150,000. So the fact that there is now 387,000 hotspots, that's more than doubled. So people are definitely catching on to this. So actually what I want to show you about this map is that if you actually zoom in into these little clusters, you can actually see different Helium hotspots that are set up, and you can actually see how much they're making. You can actually see a good amount of information about these different hotspots. So here, Icy Saffron Snail, and just so you know, all these names are given out randomly. They're randomly generated when you set up the hotspot. That's why you're seeing all these random names. But this guy made about 10.23 HNT in the past 30 days, and that equates to around $300 in the past 30 days as of current prices. Keep that in mind. Current prices, Helium is around 30 bucks. This guy made about 300 bucks in the past 30 days. This is a very useful tool that we'll actually go touch on a little bit later, but yeah, it's really cool that you can actually see how many hotspots, where they're located all around the world, and actually see how much each hotspot is actually making. So why exactly do I think that Helium mining is one of the most profitable crypto miners that you can get into as of right now? Well, one Helium miner will only cost you anywhere from $500 to $700 max. So up front, let's just say that's a $600 investment. In my experience mining Helium, I was able to actually mine about $700 within the past 30 days. So I was able to actually break even on my Helium miner in less than a month, and that is an insane return on investment. That is crazy quick how you can actually be profitable on a miner, where you compare that to like a Bitcoin miner that actually costs you around from $5,000 to $10,000, and that might take you around a year or even more to actually break even. So for the fact that you can actually get in at such a low cost and be able to be profitable within a month's time or even 2 months, that is insanely great. Like, instead of buying one Bitcoin miner, hey, you can buy like 10 of these Helium miners and be making way more than that Bitcoin miner. So that's one of the most important reasons why I think that this is one of the most profitable miners in terms of entry cost and in terms of profit, because you can make a lot if you have a lot of hotspots. And personally for me, like I said, I made about $2,000 in the past 30 days in mining Helium this month, But last month, when helium was at an all-time high of around $55, my 30-day profit was around $4,000, which is insane for me to actually be making that while I go to sleep. That is essentially like a money printer that just keeps going as I do other things, as I go to sleep, as I work on other projects. That's the amazing thing about passive income and why I have been enjoying mining helium this past 3 months. So what are some really important things to know before you actually get into helium mining? Well, you should know that it is pretty hard to get your hands on a helium miner as of right now. There is a chip shortage that's going on, and they're actually not able to manufacture enough hotspots to actually fill the demand. I heard that there's anywhere from 2 to 3 million in back order as of right now, which is absolutely insane. Bobcat, one of the most credible and well-known helium miners that a lot of people recommend, including myself, if you were to put in an order with them right now, that's anywhere from 3 to 5 months wait time. I highly recommend ordering from Bobcat if you don't mind waiting 3 to 5 months. However, I will give you some alpha. Make sure you look into all the different helium hotspots. It doesn't have to be just Bobcat. A lot of these other helium hotspots, they're very similar. They do exactly the same thing. They mine helium. You really can't go right or wrong with any of these. It's really just about if they can actually manufacture and promise what they actually deliver. I got really lucky and I was able to pick up a good amount of SenseCap helium miners. Definitely look into SenseCap and see if they have any upcoming drops or any announcements on some new shipment. You might actually be able to get your helium hotspot a lot sooner than 3 to 5 months. Definitely check into different helium hotspots and see if they have any announcements. Another really important thing that you should know about helium mining before you jump into it is location is the most important part on how you're actually going to mine helium. Essentially, your hotspot, your helium miner is basically just a radio tower trying to connect to as many hotspots as it can. So obviously, the higher you are or the less obstructed field of view that you have, it's going to be better for your helium miner. And this is where I think the Helium Explorer tool is a really great way to kind of gauge your area. So let's just say if you live in Colorado. So let's just say you live in Colorado, right? You look up your address and you can see all the different hotspots around you and kind of see how much they're making, or vice versa. If there are no hotspots around you, then that's actually really bad. You want to be surrounded by a good amount of hotspots, but not too overly saturated. And an oversaturated example that I can give it to you would be like New York City. Like if you go into the heart of New York City over here, you'll see that this red coloring right here indicates that it is just way too oversaturated. There are just way too many helium hotspots within this area. These guys are barely even making 1 HNT in the past 30 days. I mean, this one little hex has 36 hotspots within it, 41 hotspots. I mean, that is like the worst case scenario. If you live in like the heart of New York City where it is oversaturated like that, or any other oversaturated city, that might not be the best location for your helium miner. And unfortunately, helium mining is very dependent on location. And that's definitely not something that we can all control. You know, we can't just pick up and move anywhere we want. Definitely look into your area and see how much, you know, the people around you are making before you actually even go buy these helium miners. If you do live in a relatively good location where you are seeing a lot of people, your neighbors around you are making a decent amount, then the next thing that you should consider is your setup, right? In my experience, I highly recommend buying a new antenna. Personally, I use the Rock Wireless 5.8 dBi antenna for almost all my setups, and it has worked perfectly great. I have experimented with 3 dBi, 8 dBi, 5.8 dBi, but I have found most success within the 5.8 dBi antenna. And more importantly, you want to get your setup outside. You want to mount your antenna outside and high up on a roof, preferably. So we're actually setting up another helium hotspot. It's actually at my grandpa's house, and my dad actually mounted the antenna up. It's a little crooked actually, but we're gonna go ahead and fix that in a little bit. In my personal experience mining helium, getting it outside and mounted on a roof or a stand or a tree is always the best option. Getting it outside and high up is always going to give you the better signal rather than inside. It really does make a big difference. From my inside setup, I was literally making like $1 to $2 a day, and then suddenly when I put it outside, I'm making anywhere from $20 to $30 a day off of that helium miner. So getting it outside and high up is very important if you live in a decent location. Final thing that I will leave you guys with is that you are going to need a particular coax cord. And I'll leave a link down below to basically the website that I get my antenna and my coax cords from. And you basically need this coax cord to connect from your Helium hotspot into your antenna. And you can buy the length. You can, figure out how long you want the cable to be depending on, how high you're gonna put your antenna up. So it's a whole process. You got to get the hotspot, you got to get the coax cable, and you got to get the antenna and mount it on top of your roof. I highly recommend it though if you do want to make the most out of your Helium hotspot. You don't want to leave it inside, tucked in your corner just with the stock antenna. I mean, you can make some, but you could be potentially making triple or quadruple the amount that you would be mining indoor if you actually got it outdoors. So highly recommend, if you want to maximize your HNT mining potential, get it outside, get an antenna, and mount it on the roof. All right, so wrapping things up, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video or found it helpful. Leave a comment down below if you guys have any questions at all. I would be more than happy to answer some of your guys' questions. My name is Crypto Native, and I create crypto-related videos here on this YouTube channel. And if you guys want to learn more, stay up to date, make sure you subscribe and drop a like on this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Later.